We just bought a house that's way bigger than we need. And no, we're not filling it up with furniture anytime soon. Here's why. In this episode, I'll talk about the financial strategy, our lifestyle choices, and our future proofing, as well as explain how this decision ties into financial principles like smart investing and avoiding lifestyle inflation. Okay, so let's talk about why we bought a big house in the first place. A lot of what went into this was thinking about not just the home for right now, but the forever home situation. And to be honest, we went back and forth on this quite a bit. We settled on the forever home, ultimately. And as part of this, we looked at not just at what we need right now, the bare minimum, but what we will need in the future. Studio space for me to shoot, some room for inventory and some things with my business, place to do our work and future hobbies. We both work at home. And to be honest, with the way interest rates were going and with the way that our neighborhood worked, the difference between the small home and its monthly payment and the large, oh my gosh, way too big home was a lot smaller than the difference between having a house and not. Like, it was like supersizing. It was actually kind of crazy. Basically, for 20% more payment, we got twice as much house. And that's just how it be sometimes. So yes, the overall cost was higher, but the cost per square foot was much lower than the entry-level starter homes in our neighborhood. And primarily we were interested in the neighborhood. It is the perfect neighborhood. We love it. Now, it's going to be tight the first few years, but we are in a stage of our life where we can afford this home. It isn't as comfortable as we want it to be. It's a little tight, to be honest, although I tend to want a high level of comfort in all my purchases. I'm just like that. But we're both upwardly mobile in our careers, and theoretically it should become comfortable over time as we continue to progress in our careers. Hopefully. If not, we have a healthy emergency fund and ways to make sure that we're not out over our skis, hopefully. I will say that we spent the last 2 years traveling the country full-time in an RV where we had maybe 200 square feet of living space. So the 1,600 square foot house and the 3,000 square foot house were both huge to us. So the little house and the big house were both huge. There was also an element of the bigger house was in better shape, and we knew we would have to put less work into it. That wasn't just the home inspector's vibe on it, it was also our vibe. But my husband's very handy. He's actually worked on building construction and things, so he has a good eye for it as well. This house was just in better shape, so the maintenance offset it a little bit as well. It's actually really cool to have a giant house, to have room to breathe and grow, even if I am a little stressed about the mortgage payment. I would be that way with a tiny house though, let's be real. Okay, so that's why we picked the big house. We loved it. It really wasn't that much more money, and it's sort of offset by the price per square foot and the fact that it was going to need fewer maintenance costs up front, hopefully. So let's talk about why we're leaving it mostly empty. There is so much room. We could put so much furniture into this place. It is one of the biggest houses I've personally ever been in. It's certainly the biggest place I've ever lived in. I could put end tables and cabinets and all kinds of manner of filler in every space, but I don't. And I'm really committed to not doing that. That said, we have basic furnishings. We have a couch, we have a few large bean bags in our lounge area. We're going to be looking at getting a dining room table that folds up and down. So when we have guests, we can put it out, and then when we don't, we can fold it back up. Maybe some really nice chairs that fold up and put away for when we have people over, so we have that flexibility. But honestly, I'm not going to spend that much more money furnishing the place. We did a few things we liked, and we're going to leave it at that. We're deliberately resisting the urge to fill every single square foot with furniture and stuff. So part of that is avoiding lifestyle inflation, because boy howdy, you can spend a lot of money on knickknacks and furniture and end tables and rugs and all of that stuff. It can get really expensive really fast. And for us, we prefer the financial freedom over the aesthetic perfection. Also, I kind of like the open space. I know that some people are like, oh, but it's so boring. You need to show your personality. I have plenty of personality. My life is my personality. I do fun things. I'm always having a great time. Why do I need to prove that I'm interesting by making my house look interesting? It's a very strange thing, isn't it? How people are like, oh, show some personality. Why do you gotta do it on your wall? Not only that, but the open spaces make it actually easier to clean. It's less stuff to move when I'm cleaning, so it's saving me lots of time, a lot of hassle. Because frankly, it's a lot of work to clean a bigger house, and because it's not comfortable, because I am still figuring out how to afford this new house, I can't pay somebody to come in and do floors or anything. I'm the housekeeper. So make it a little easier on myself, have things wide and open, fewer things to dust, easier access when I'm vacuuming. 10 out of 10. And so we've taken what is a practical approach to furnishing. We prioritized what was needed now, especially because we wanted to buy it before tariffs hit. And buying a house ain't cheap, and paying the movers and the appraisal and the down payment and the inspection and the title insurance, like that's all expensive. So we focused on what we needed right now. The living room, the bedroom, our workspaces, having enough to sit in every room without hurting your back for the two of us. And over time, we are waiting for the right pieces. A lot of times in the Buy Nothing groups or even the Curb, you will find things that are really nice. We actually have a workshop at this house where we can refinish pieces if we'd like. We can work on things to do it yourself over time. We can live without those pieces. We can wait for them to show up like stray pets. And I am a firm believer that minimalism and functionality have a relationship. A home should support your life, not just look good on Instagram. I mean, for goodness sake, like, I'm not saying you should do this, but you can go if you want to like put a pretty picture that makes everybody go ooh and ah. You can like go do AI now. That's so rude, but honestly, like, you gotta live here. You should be living for what your home does for you, not for the vague possibility it might impress strangers in public. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I'm definitely old-fashioned. For better or for worse. And honestly, empty space is helpful. Like, I'm shooting from my studio. I can actually show you guys a picture of it from a different angle so you can see I need some empty space in my studio. I have a nice closet where I store a lot of my equipment, but I like having the blank slate here. Eventually I'll do some more backdrops and things like that, but I'm not in a hurry to do that. I'm sort of taking my time with it. I like this back here. It makes it easier to get thumbnails out of my frames and things like that, and it's just a nice blank slate. I've kept it kind of clear and positioned to the window where I've got good natural light. I do have some film lights, some stand lights that I can use. I don't like to use them though if I don't have to. I like the natural light the best. I have a flexible table that I can change heights. I keep stuff on it. Sometimes I'll put my teleprompter on it if I'm doing a teleprompter video. It's perfect, you know, it's perfect. But there's a lot of empty space in here, but that's kind of the point, right? Breathing room matters. And that might just be a reaction to having spent 2 years full-time on the road with my husband in the RV and really just not having any clear space and always having clutter, no matter how minimalist we went with things. So to me at this point, open space is luxury. Okay, so we talked about why I'm doing it. Let's talk about the financial advantages of this strategy I've chosen. So obviously there's an upside when it comes to cash flow and savings. Basically, there are fewer upfront costs by not buying unnecessary furnishings. I mean, these things are expensive. And I found that people a lot of times will try them and be like, no, I don't like this, give it away and buy it again. Like it's this rotation, or they might have seasonal pieces that they're rotating in and out. And they'll have 3-4 sets of things because of that. And instead of doing that, what I am doing is I am taking those funds and I'm allocating them to higher priority financial goals. So things like savings, investments. In terms of the house even, we have been looking at upgrades that are more important to us. So the previous owner had a lot of incandescent bulbs. Those tend to waste electricity and cost a lot more over the long term. So we've been going and we've been changing everything out so that it's LEDs. Some of the fixtures require some work to make that happen, but it's a priority for us. Or, you know, some of the door hardware kind of dated and it was insecure and we needed to rekey anyway. So we went and we got a bunch of new handles to ones that we like better, that are more functional rather than the door knob. We've got more levers so that if we have our hands full of groceries or moving items in or out of the house, we can still get the door open. Kind of looking at things like that, quality of life upgrades that matter to us. We had a light that was hitting Justin in the head because he's very tall. It was kind of a low-hanging chandelier. I think we spent like $10 or $20 at IKEA and got a very normal light, LED light too. That's the kind of the things that we're focusing on, things that have functional purpose and that are improving it for us on a practical level. So the second leg of this financially is real estate as an investment. So we're in the house, it's a big house, and we're getting that long-term property value appreciation. Now, we didn't have that for years and years. We did a lot more with money markets and investments while we were on the road. But now that we're here, it's a decent strategy. And because we're planning on staying in this house for a while, this is not a love and leave situation, not a big flipping project. Even if there's some volatility in the real estate markets over the next few years, and I would not be surprised if there was, we're going to ride it out. And this property will appreciate over time. It's in a good area, it's a lovely house, and it's well cared for. It is a little overbuilt, and I don't know that we're ever going to get the price per square foot because of that, but the actual value of the home is higher. So it's a bigger investment and a big commitment, but it will likely pay off in the future. And we love living here, so whatever, it's paying off in the present. And the extra room gives us a lot of potential for income generating things. Yeah, I talked a little bit about it, but I have a resale business I might be getting into with some friends, and I need places to put inventory, and this house has enough room for it. So that's a huge deal. In addition, flexibility is good in uncertain times. If I need to take in a boarder, a family member who would pay rent, that sort of thing, I have plenty of room. We have a really nice master suite for that. It gives us some options. So somebody we know and trust is on hard times. They can help us with the mortgage. We can help them have a nice, cheap, safe place to stay. It can be very win-win. I like having that flexibility. All right, so you know my plan. How can you apply this mindset? I mean, if you want. Well, I challenge you to think strategically about space and to look around your house and evaluate what you really need in a home versus what people expect you to have. Those things don't always match up. It's really interesting, the difference between what you need on an everyday basis and what's just popular and people just kind of have. I would also say avoid over-furnishing. Start with the essentials and let the space build up over time. That's what we've been doing, kind of wait to feel the pain for a lot of things. There's some basics that we wanted to get before tariffs hit, but unless you've reached for a kitchen gadget multiple times and you've done it the long way and you're really tired, then you can deal. We've done that. And finally, I would say to think about financials first and aesthetics second. Focus on building wealth instead of draining it on unnecessary decor. Like, you can do a lot with a little. And if you're patient and savvy, you can build a beautiful home without draining your budget and actually take a lot more pride in it rather than, going out and dropping it on a pre-built living room suite with a high price tag, Yeah, just work on it. See what you can do. I think it can be a lot more fun too. Anyway, it's been great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.